Eric Washington was asked about why he wanted to join the Chicago Bears, and he said a lot more than just okay to himself over and over again.
Okay.
Yeah, my focus was on what the job is and as opposed to what it isn't. The opportunity to come here and to this organization with a defense that is clearly on an upward trajectory, that has some really dynamic performers in place with plans of obviously augmenting that. That's what my focus was, and that's what it continues to be. I've been a play caller. I'm pretty confident that I will do that again at some point. But right now, I'm really confident in what Matt is going to bring to the table in that respect, and I will support him as best that I can.
What you've seen from this defense, whether it was while you were considering the job or since you've been hired, what specifically appeals to you about where this defense is headed?
It's number one, it's an explosive group of players. This defense was elite in several important categories that lead directly to winning football. Making teams one-dimensional, stopping the run. We've got some really good players on the defensive line. This team is in the top 2 or 3 and taking the football away and continuing to feed an explosive offense. When I looked at that, and in terms of those things being values, those were the things that really got me excited, along with the scheme and the structure of the defense. Those are the things that really got me excited about coming.
So there were some obvious questions about, the play calling, and essentially, I think a fair question to Eric today was, did you have any concerns or hesitations about the fact that you were taking a DC job that did not come with play calling duties? Because Matt Eberflus did confirm, which we already knew, that he was going to continue calling the plays. So that's where at the top there, what you just heard him saying, I was focused more on what the job is and not what it isn't.
Right.
And I think he also understands, and he was one of the things I thought was very genuine about that you could clearly believe that he believes is how good he thinks his defense can be and how excited he is about the talent that's already here. And then I love the idea that he's a defensive line guy, and as we played earlier, he's not afraid to talk about his success with the defensive line. So that's all exciting. And
we heard Corey talk about how great he is.
Although, the biggest mistake that Eric Washington made today was he named, and maybe this is why Shane Waldron didn't want to name any names.
Right.
We're mad. He named a bunch of Bears D linemen that he coached the first time he was here. And he mentions Matt Toina before Corey Wooten, who he never mentions.
We're going to have to play that for Woot.
Yeah. So,
it's very disappointing.
Talk about your all-time snubs.
Right, because he not only coached Corey as a rookie with the Bears, but he coached him at Northwestern too.
Yep.
So the DC wouldn't mention Corey Wooten, the OC wouldn't mention Cole Kmet. We have beef here at CHGO.
We do.
This is legit.
Beef.
This is our family. This is our, I do consider those guys to be family.
Yeah, they are. I was going to say, they are. Good.
So
are we.
Yeah.
Well, you want to upgrade when you create a family.
You're like my crazy uncle.
Yeah, exactly.
That I love.
That has to come over for Thanksgiving.
Very, very much.
And ruin it on a drunken stupor.
Congratulations. Way to lean into that, being that person. I liked the word explosive. This defense has the ability to be explosive. I would not have used that word with this defense quite yet. Functional, effective, moving in the right direction. But he threw out explosive, which is fair to the second half of the season. But I think he's got some big goals as to what it's going to look like.
Yeah, my guess is he's referring to more of just getting upfield, penetrating on the defensive line. Well, especially, I think they need to be a little bit more.
We haven't done that for 3 years.
One of the best questions I thought today, and best answers that we heard today, I'm going to give the press conference award to Mark Potash.
Oh, Potsy!
Yeah, because it's a very fair question, and we've even had some people ask us in our comments today. Basically, what does a coordinator do that doesn't call plays? What is that game day role look like? What are you actually doing on game day when you are not calling the plays? Here it is.
But just making sure, number one, understand that Matt is also the head football coach. And so, calling the defense, that's that job, that responsibility. There's a lot of details. There's a lot of nuance to that. But at the same time, he's got to make sure that the team and the decisions that have to be made from that seat are taken care of. And so for me, I will do everything that the coordinator is doing without actually calling the defense. And if he needs to hand that responsibility off to me temporarily or for a snap or two, be ready to follow up and to take that role on and to make sure that we continue to move forward in the direction that we want to go in. And so the other thing is just, on the sideline during the game, just making sure that the coaches and the players are informed as far as the adjustments that we need to make and how the game is unfolding. So there's a lot of communication. There's a lot of communication back and forth when we go to offense and as opposed to when we're on defense. So just supporting him and being of the mindset that you're the play caller. So if there's a question that's posed, if there's some way I can support that situation, make sure I get that information to him quickly and clearly so he can make a decision.
So that sounds like Eric and Flus discussed, like when the Flus gets overrun during a game, that maybe he would step in for a second. I also thought it was interesting that he's planning on being on the sidelines, not up in the box. He's going to be down there hanging out with the Flus, hanging out with the players, hanging out with the other coaches that are down there and living his life from the field. So there's a little bit, and again, Eric Washington, just a very focused, powerful speaking, not taking, this is my life and I am going to live it as best as I can, Coach Washington.
But I also like that, he's an experienced defensive coordinator, has a lot of experience doing that kind of thing and calling plays and wants to. And he talked about being ready if his number is called, and that's important because if Matt Eberflus wants to keep calling plays, they want to keep that momentum going. I get it. It makes a lot of sense. What did you say he said as far as Matt Eberflus as a play caller?
Elite
play caller. So that's great. But at the same time, Matt Eberflus does have a lot of responsibilities outside of just calling plays for defense. He's the head coach of this team. And so that always kind of worries me that Matt had to make that transition last year when, the Allen Williams situation unfolded the way it did. So being able to bring in somebody with this kind of experience to come here, obviously their friendship had a lot to play into that decision for Eric, but to come in here and now have a guy that has that kind of experience to be ready as opposed to somebody that doesn't have that experience is big for the Bears.
Yeah, no, it's a good security blanket right there, no doubt.
We all silly like the mayor.